Where is Bitcoin likely to go next, and is the altcoin market about to enter a parabolic altcoin season? These are questions we're answering in the video. Let's dive on in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having an amazing day today. In today's video, we are doing a complete short-term analysis for Bitcoin, discussing exactly what is happening with the price action, whether or not we are going to see one final push into 100,000, or if we're going to see a short-term correction. We are also going over massive amounts of detail in regards to the total altcoin market, having broken through the $840 billion level, officially entering the parabolic phase. What has history shown us in regards to altcoin rallies, and are we still going to see a strong move toward the upside? We are going over historical price data and of course our current key levels to answer those questions. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos of Bitcoin, focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. And if you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can join us in VIP, where we post trading setups with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and of course, you'll also get access to our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our daily video, our help, our news, and our trade setup chat. Join over 600 members by contacting me in the pinned comment of the free channel by clicking my name or these links for more information. Again, you can find a video showing you inside the channel, and you can find 45 months of trading data. This is nearly 4 years of trading data you can find to check out what we have done and our trade win rate. Check it out, guys. Join up and let's dive in the video. So as we can see, the last 24 hours of price action, Bitcoin is showing signs that it is starting to cool off on this recent explosive move toward the upside. We had this ascending triangle formation, simply a horizontal neckline resistance with a uptrending diagonal trend line, where we had a situation of absorption as represented by lower lows on the RSI. The key notation of that was over here, with the higher lows on the price action chart. This is an indication that even though we are seeing some stagnation in price, we are seeing this, the price action momentarily push sideways. The buyers were stepping in with aggression, filling all of the selling pressure that was occurring, that eventually resulted in the buyers taking complete control and pushing the price action up through that local range high into the 99,000 region. According to the measured move of this wedge, taking the distance between the range high to the uptrending diagonal trend line, vertically applying it to the initial breakout point, we can see the expected measured move target is sitting at just over 100,000. It's sitting at 100,800. What am I saying? $100,800. I've been looking at numbers all day today. My brain is frazzled. $100,800 is the target for this measured move breakout. Now, on the move upwards, we have seen some exhaustion develop. We are now seeing the RSI pointing toward the downside, representing that momentum is starting to fall. And with that reduction, with that decrease in the RSI, we are also seeing the price action continuing upwards to create new local highs. This is an indication of bearish exhaustion. This is what we would call a bearish divergence, and could be an indication that the buyers are starting to slowly slow down in this buying pressure, which could lead to a short-term correction. We'll be discussing that in the video today as well. Moving over to the total, we're going to be taking a look at the total market cap in reference to the rally to 900 billion, but most importantly, taking a look at when has the altcoin parabolic phase, when has the altcoin rally kicked off in the prior cycles? And we're going to be discussing similarities between those cycles and this present cycle to get a bit of a, understanding of how we are shaping up in terms of these historical trends to potentially infer that to the future period to discuss what is likely to occur next. Let's move over to our data. 24-hour volume sitting down 15%, 282 billion. That is normal as we enter the weekend. Liquidations down 28%, 330 million, 182 million coming from longs, 149 million coming from shorts, giving us a pretty good indication that over the past 24 hours, there is a lot of indecision and still a lot of people jumping into high leverage positions at these highs, trying to catch these next short-term moves, and it's ending up chopping most of these people up. So some short-term stagnation and volatility is expected. Moving over to the DXY is peeking its head over the range high. Now this is not a good thing. Of course, as we know, if the DXY continuing upwards, this generally does put some downward pressure on risk asset markets, particularly if we see macro continuations higher. Now, this is a horizontal range. The likely expectation of these ranges is that we do see those buy-side liquidities grabbed and we do see deviation before we see extended corrections back to the lows. So this is not a breakout yet. We are simply pushing into the upper level of liquidity. We are watching to see how this price action develops over the next 3 days to 1 week. If we do push back below, we are then expecting strong corrections into the range low. If we sustain above, we are watching for support resistance flips, and that of course would be bearish. So overall, nothing to be worried too much about right now. We are still expecting corrections and deviations, but if we do start to see the price action continue past 108, that is going to be a bit of a warning sign for a potential macro continuation higher. Something to pay a little bit of attention to, but not worry too much about at the moment. The S&P 500 is still looking pretty decent, closing under 6,000 for the week. We would like to see these local highs eradicated. Again, if we break above this prior local high, that is going to be the trigger for a continuation higher. Until then, while we remain above 5,700, we are still going to be macro bullish. If we drop below 5,700, which is the prior higher high, that is when we enter a downtrend into our yearly lows. So for now, bullish. We do run the risk of a correction, but that is not on the cards right as we speak. Before we get into the rest of the video, guys, if you were interested in 15 to 45% discounts on all your trading fees for life, you can sign up to the links down below to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. Again, you'll get a 15% lifetime discount, which can build up to 45% discounts. Again, sign up to the links down below. You'll support me creating the content and you'll support yourself trading. We'll play an ad and we'll jump back in. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get back into it. And I want to start talking about the altcoin season and the altcoin market to start off with, because I've got a heap of questions over the past 48 hours asking when is the altcoin season starting, how is the altcoin season looking, and I think a lot of people are still kind of wondering what is happening. Now, the altcoin market has been relatively strong for a while now. We are pushing up to the $900 billion market. Now, the $900 billion market level on the total 3 market cap is to somewhat deceiving. The reason I say deceiving is because in this cycle particularly, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of these indicators. In this cycle particularly, there is a whole heap more going on with the altcoin market cap than we saw in the prior cycles. We have thousands and thousands and thousands more coins in this cycle than we have had in prior cycles. If we zoom into the altcoin market cap here, what we can see is we saw the breakout of this horizontal range sitting around the $650 billion level. We told you guys that a breakout of the $650 billion level will likely result in a continuation to retest this $840 billion level, where if we break out from, we are technically entering the quote-unquote parabolic phase for altcoins, and we stand by that. This is the beginning of the parabolic phase for altcoins according to the structural levels on the total 3. Now that doesn't mean every single altcoin is going to perform fantastic. There are always going to be some altcoins that are leading the way and some altcoins that are lagging. Some altcoins that are taking up a larger percentage of the market share and some altcoins that are losing market share percentage even during a parabolic phase. So you can't just literally buy anything and expect to see massive returns. It is likely most coins will go up in value, but there always are going to be coins or sectors that are massively overperforming others. Now, when we're looking at how historical cycles, let's go back and take a look. This is going to be the 2021 cycle. Now, I've said in prior videos, there are a few different scenarios that need to play out, but the most important scenario that has to play out for us to see massive rotation of money from Bitcoin to altcoins is we need to see the total market cap increasing as Bitcoin dominance decreases. And that signifies money is not leaving crypto, but it is leaving Bitcoin, and that money is moving into altcoins. If we take a look at the prior cycle, and I want you to take a look at these lines over here. We've got the candle chart, which represents the total 3 market cap, which is altcoins. We've got the black linear chart, which is a representation of Bitcoin dominance. And we have got the yellow, orange, whatever you see, chart, which is a representation of Bitcoin. What we saw for Bitcoin's price action back in 2020, once we broke past the prior all-time high, I'm drawing a circle on the left over here, the prior all-time high, we saw our initial rally toward the upside. This is technically the phase we are in now for Bitcoin, as we have broken past the all-time high. We can draw it in here, and this is going to be our initial strong rally after the all-time high breakout. So this is the phase we are in for Bitcoin. What we noticed during the end of this move, at the end of this move, or nearing the end of this move, we saw two things. We saw altcoins are starting to slowly move up, but very, very slightly. Look at where the total 3 market cap is in relation to Bitcoin. If we zoom in over here, the total 3 market cap on a horizontal level is breaking through. And I'll go ahead and zoom in. I'll actually get it up over here. We can see over here, the total 3 market cap, let's just drag all of this stuff out of the way really quickly, is breaking through that yearly resistance at the point of which Bitcoin is making that rally to a new or past the all-time high. This yearly resistance is the equivalent to the $840 billion level we are breaking out right now on the current cycle. It is equivalent to this level of resistance. We can see the altcoin market is breaking out of that resistance as Bitcoin is completing that parabolic move after the breakout of the prior all-time high. Now, what we have seen historically, and thus what is likely to occur this time around, is once this move is completed for Bitcoin, once Bitcoin has completed its first move up before it sees a correction and exhausts, we'll talk about that correction in a second, okay? What we saw last time is that we saw altcoins continue to go upwards, and with that move upwards, Bitcoin dominance began to significantly drop, and that is when the altcoin season started. So you want to have an answer to when the altcoin season is starting. The altcoin season is heating up right now. We are in the beginning phases of a money rotation into altcoins according to our structural levels and according to our historical data based on Bitcoin dominance and Bitcoin's price action. We are not in the altcoin season yet, but we are beginning that. For us to see an altcoin season, when Bitcoin tops the local top, where that may be 100,000, 99,000, and sees that correction, we need to see Bitcoin dominance drop. And if Bitcoin dominance drops during that correction and we see altcoins move up against Bitcoin moving down, that is going to be the sign that we are at the start of the altcoin season, and we should see altcoins begin to go parabolic. So we are maybe like 2 weeks out from that, maybe. It's hard to put a date on it. We really, it's very impossible to put a date on it, but I'd probably say we're maybe a few weeks out from that at the most. Before we see that move toward the upside. So let's just go ahead and get rid of all this. And I just want to go ahead and show you this one more time. Let's go ahead and get rid of all the indicators. Again, if we take a look at this level here, this yearly resistance was the equivalent to this yearly resistance, which we have broken out from. Now remember, like I said, at the point of which the altcoin market was breaking this resistance, Bitcoin was pushing on the first leg of its rally past the last all-time high, which it is doing right now. And it is during this breakout when Bitcoin dominance eventually drops and we start to see altcoins rally aggressively. So I think altcoins have a bright future ahead of them, and there are some reasons and things that could occur that could push them down. But overall, based on historical data, they are looking very strong, and it looks like we actually are on track for a parabolic move for altcoins. Let's move over to Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin is a different story. Like we've said, altcoins and Bitcoin, based on historical data, are likely to start moving against each other at some point. And what we can see over here is Bitcoin is showing some signs of exhaustion. Now, with this exhaustion, we are already seeing some altcoins move up. Let's take a look at this. This is my watch list, and I know this just adjusted for the last 16 minutes, but we already starting to see a lot of altcoins be very much green. There are some altcoins that are red already for the day, but again, this is just the last 16 minutes. A lot of these coins were green, up 30%, 20% in the last 24 hours, as Bitcoin has been more or less chopping sideways. So we're already starting to see Bitcoin dominance come down a little bit. It's at 60%. We are starting to see some preliminary indications that money is beginning to rotate. Now, will this cycle play out perfectly as what we have seen in the past? There is never guarantees in the market. We might just see everything collapse with each other. We might see everything rally with each other. We don't really know, but the best we can go off is historical data. How historical data is suggestive that we are on a track. Again, the invalidations will be a drop back below on the weekly chart of 840. We lose 840 billion on the weekly chart. I would be then concerned for a potential invalidation of the altcoin season. But for now, we are very much good. Moving on to Bitcoin, we can see some early signs of weakness develop over here. Again, the measured move target for this is targeting around $100,800. So we are watching for a potential liquidity grab in here before we then see that correction. And I think if we move into this region, that correction that comes from it, which could take us back down to 94,000, okay, will be the correction where money starts to rotate in altcoins, and that is kind of how we're playing this for now. So in the short term, we are seeing some exhaustion. Again, we do have this uptrending diagonal trend line. I would remain relatively bullish on Bitcoin while this trend line holds. If we drop below this trend line, I would expect that correction to play out. While we remain above the trend line, our target is still just over 100,000, which we were expecting a move and liquidity grab into before a potential correction. Now, the reason we are still expecting a potential correction on the short term is because, again, in historical cycles, we have always seen after the rally, post the prior all-time high, we do see a pullback before that final leg up, okay? So we are expecting some sort of correction in the short term, and that is likely to occur possibly from the $100,000 region or just above the $100,000 region. We push above, a lot of people aping above 100,000. We then see a liquidity flush, money rotates to altcoins go parabolic, and then money puts it back into Bitcoin for the final move toward the upside, and then that's it, cycles over. Pack it up for the next one. So maybe that is what we're going to see over here. But as always, when we are in price discovery, things are never certain. You have to play it level by level. So don't take what I'm saying as gospel, okay? Because at the end of the day, we are in price discovery. We have no historical price action at these price levels for Bitcoin. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out. All we know is what is happening on the short term and how we can plan and execute moves based on the developing price action. So play it level by level for Bitcoin, but for altcoins, it is looking very good. Historically, structurally, technically, all of the things we look for, it is lining up for exactly what we've been talking about for a very long time now, which is the parabolic phase for altcoins. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you then.